Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm taking a look at Kerbal Space Program 2. Now I had an email in my inbox the other day, or probably a week or so ago now actually. It's the first time I've had to get round to it, and I had a free Steam key for this game, so a little bit of disclosure there. It is a free key, but as ever I will be giving my honest opinion about the game, and you know, sort of keeping you guys informed about what I think it is really like, and I'm sure the developers, Intercept Games, would appreciate that anyway. I'm not into the habit of slagging games off necessarily, but I do give constructive criticism, and that's what I will do with this. Now, talking about the free key, I would just like to thank Intercept Games and the publisher Private Division for giving me a Steam key. It is really appreciated, and thank you very much for that. So just a little bit of disclosure there. Now, I haven't. It's not really a game I've played a lot of, if I'm honest. Kerbal Space Program full stop. I did buy Kerbal Space Program 1, and I've played about 2 hours of it. If anybody looks on my Steam account, you will see that I've played about 2 hours of KSP 1, and I found it a little bit awkward to get into, if I'm honest. I don't consider myself lacking in sort of technical thinking. I consider myself to be quite technical. I do understand a little bit about how rockets fly. I understand how the internal combustion engine works in motor vehicles. I understand how aeroplanes stay in the air when they weigh sort of multiple tons of sort of weight. So you know, I'm not kind of thick when it comes to that, but I just couldn't seem to get the hang of Kerbal Space Program, I will admit, and I'm hoping, from what I've read a little bit and heard and what have you, that this game has a little bit of a better tutorial, shall we say, to start people off who aren't used to the game. So I'm coming at it from that angle. I'm coming at it from a beginner's kind of angle. I have been on the game probably for about an hour or so, I can't remember, but that is purely been looking at the settings and various things. I've not really played the game. I think I did a little bit of the first part of the tutorial, I can't remember, but yeah, you know, it's effectively a beginner's kind of approach to Kerbal Space Program 2. So anyway, let's get into it. So as per usual, it's always happens, doesn't it? Every time I do a video, my phone starts going off. I always forget to turn the bloody thing off as well. Right, so single player. Let's have a look at the settings. So we'll just pop into here. We'll just show you the settings briefly. So we've got general settings here. This is, by the way, on PC. If anybody doesn't understand, it is coming out on console at some point, I do believe. But for now, it is on PC, on Steam, on early access. So if you can purchase the game if you do like the look of it. It is there. So go and take a look. I'll put a link in the description for you. So anyway, there's nothing really in general settings, gameplay wise. To be honest, I've had a look. I've not really changed. I had a look through, and I've not really changed anything. So I'm just keeping everything. Not really knowing what I'm changing, I suppose, is one of the problems, particularly with gameplay. Input, I've just kept as it is. Audio, I will actually take the music level down because that actually gets too much in the way. And user interface, yeah. Did I raise the UI scale? I don't know. That might have defaulted to that. I can't really remember, if I'm honest. Accessibility we have here, which yeah, I may have made things a little bit bigger in there. I can't remember. Graphics wise, let's have a look here. So I've got it on full screen, VSync on. I'm playing at 1080 just to make things a little bit easier on the processor. Even though I'm not playing on any slouch PC. It's a 4070 and it's what they call it, I can't remember, Ryzen 9, that's it, what I was trying to think of, and 16 gigs of RAM. So that is what my PC is basically made of. So it's not a slouch, but it does tend to give you, I think, a little bit better. I'd rather have frame rate than fancy graphics, if I'm honest. So that's why I've got it on there. It may well take it higher. It may well be fine higher, but I've just left it on there for now. And so I've got quality presets on high, as you can see. So having it set to 1080 just allows me to have these settings a little bit more. So, but like I said, I'm kind of, you know, sort of potentially talking a load of rubbish. I don't know, because I don't really know what the game's going to look like, if I'm honest. So anyway, let's get out of here if we can. How do we get out? Oh, there we go. It's that back arrow, isn't it? Right. Okay, so we need to start a new campaign. And so we've got two options here. We have exploration and sandbox. And by the way, just while I think on, if you do like the video, please remember to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It would be really, really appreciated, and it would get the video out to more people as well. So if you could do that little thing for me, it doesn't cost you anything. It would be really appreciated. Thank you very much. So, yeah, exploration or sandbox. So exploration, build your space agency from humble beginnings, starting with a small suite of parts, perform experiments and complete missions to earn science. Use science to unlock more parts at the Research and Development Centre. Sandbox mode, explore the universe with no limits. All parts are immediately available. Research and Development and Mission Control are available. Now, by the way, if anybody doesn't know what Kerbal Space Program is, it's a space exploration game. Effectively, you don't have humans. You have these creatures called Kerbals, which are like these guys up here, and you do experiments and you do research, and you can build your own rockets and your own vehicles, and you can fly to the moon and beyond. So that's basically what the game is all about. All the physics are generally very realistic. It's not, although it looks a little bit cartoony perhaps with the characters and stuff, it's by far an arcadey game from what I know about it. So if you don't know much about the game and you were perhaps interested in it, just bear that in mind. It can get quite technical, which is one of the reasons, as I said, why I didn't really get into the first one, because of the lack of, what I thought, lack of tutorial. But we'll see how this one goes. So difficulty on normal. I'll just keep it on normal, see how it goes. Campaign name, let's call this First Look, shall we? And agency name, we'll just keep as Kerbal Space Agency. Keep it at that. Let's have a look at the flag then. Let's change our flag to something a little bit more interesting than that. What type of things have we got here? So, what's that one like? No, not really keen on that one. What should we go for? Ooh, choices. I quite like the look of that one. I think we'll go for that one. Agency colours, base and accent. So don't really know what that's changing. Is it changing the actual UI? I honestly don't know. Don't know what that's changing, if I'm completely honest. But the accent will leave us a grey, actually. Quite like the look of that. And set agency colours, is that? Yeah, okay, that's done that. Right, I think that's it. Let's start the campaign then. Now, I've noticed that when you, even though you buy the game on Steam, at least on early access, it does take you to a third-party window and launcher, which I found quite interesting. Now, like I said, whether that's a permanent thing, or I think it is a permanent thing actually, because I've noticed my Kerbal Space Program 1 is in there as well, so it must be a standard thing with how this developer works.
Your new space program. forward into the cosmos. Since the dawn of Kerbal kind, we have looked to the sky and wondered what sublime mysteries lie hidden in the darkness, like jewels never beheld. These untold treasures may soon reveal themselves due to the efforts of recently founded Kerbal Space Program.
Oh my, I think that might have been the only copy of the orientation film. Hold on! Slides, somewhere. Welcome to your first day running the Kerbal Space Program. This campus hosts the greatest ever gathering of astronomers, astronauts, and engineers. After years of focused effort, this collection of geniuses has created several very impressive buildings. We believe we have all the necessary pieces to take our first steps off the ground. The best way to advance our technologies further is to get up there and learn by doing. All we need now is somebody to show us how to put all these parts together. Well, we also need somebody to help us out with the flying. We need a lot of help, actually. That's why you're here. My name is Paige, by the way. If you need any hints, feel free to visit me over at the training center. Everything in there is well padded, so it's a great place to get up and running. Welcome aboard!
Okay, so I think that's the little intro sorted out. So, Paige is here, and she's saying, hello, welcome to the Kerbal Space Center. This campus has everything you need to turn your fledgling space program into the stuff of legends. Are you playing in exploration mode? Be sure to visit Mission Control. Completing missions is one way to earn science, which will let you purchase technologies at the R&D Center. Okay, so I'm assuming we are clicking on that now, seeing as it's flashing away at us. So, welcome to Mission Control. Between you and me, Kerry is a mission fanatic. Kerry will automatically accept all missions, which leaves you to decide when and how to complete them. So she's already got a mission for you. Select the mission in the mission log to see the objective. Okay, so I'm assuming... Right, okay, so that just opens and closes that. Right, so we select that. So mission description, time to launch the Kerbal Space Program's inaugural vessel, a fully functional rocket. Launch rocket from Kerbin and achieve an altitude of at least 10 kilometers. We get a reward of science, 25. Brought to you by Kerbal Space Center, the nerve center of your agency, blah, 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 blah. Right, okay, so what's it say here? Right, so I'm assuming, do we open, close that? Do we track it? Let's just have a look in there. Mission brief. Okay, so that's just basically going through what we've already looked at. Track mission. Or do we just click continue on there? Alright, okay, so right. So if you want more information, click mission brief. If you select track mission, then you can use the mission tracker app in flight to see the status of your objective. You can track as many missions as you want. Once you're all clear on what to do, go to the vehicle assembly building to build a rocket to complete the mission. Right, okay, so yes, obviously we're still following the tutorial, so we need to be sort of concerned more with what's happening in this window then in that case. So we need to go to the vehicle assembly building. Right, so let's get rid of all that lot then, if we can. Or do we click there? Right, okay, there we go. Okay, so welcome to the Vehicle Assembly Building, or VAB. This is where you assemble buildings, or vehicles I should say, to take you wherever you want to go. So this is the parts picker. You take pieces from the picker and place them in your workstation. I do remember this from the first game, actually. So this is looking a little bit familiar for me. from the first game. It's looking pretty much the same, the kind of hangar that we're in. A good starting rocket has a command pod, an engine and a fuel tank holding the fuel the engine needs. You can view parts by the category. You can also search and sort parts by default. Parts are sorted by type. By default, sorry, I'm reading that wrong. By default, parts are sorted by type. If you have a part you use often, you can add it to your favourites by clicking the middle mouse button. Okie dokie. So, we need that, presumably. Has that actually placed that? It's not. Well, let's continue. Let's continue. You can construct several assemblies or sections of your vehicle at the same time. The assembly marked with the green icon is your launch assembly. It is what goes out of the door when you select launch. Right, okay. So continue. What would possibly help in this tutorial part of the game is when it's time to continue on here, this flashes perhaps. Because I'm a little bit confused as to, am I supposed to continue on that or am I supposed to do something on here? It's not really making it that clear for me. Now call me thick if you like, I don't mind. Drop a comment, just put thick, whatever. I don't care, I'm pretty thick-skinned. But I just wasn't getting that point, really. I just think it needs, like in a lot of tutorials, something flashes when it's time to move on to the next paragraph or whatever. So yeah, I'm just sort of not been grasping that really, but anyway, let's continue. So use the engineer's report to see how your vehicle will perform. It will give you useful stats and a list of potential problems. For example, you can use the engineer's report to see if you have a thrust to weight ratio over 1, which means your rocket will actually leave the launch pad. Yeah, okay, so let's have a look at that. So vessel has a command pod, no parachute, command pod may not survive curbing landing. Also command pod is missing a heat shield. Yep, okay, that's fine. So let's continue. Over here is the trip planner. Use it to plot a destination and ensure that your vehicle has the ability to get there. Okay. So that's the trip planner then. Yep, okie dokie. It all looks a little bit daunting at first, I suppose, really. But I'm sure it will all be explained, he says. Okay, let's continue from that. And then, once ready to fly, select launch button. As long as your vehicle fits completely within the VAB, it will be moved out to your chosen launch location. Right, okay. So, if we press that now... So, obviously, this isn't going to fly. I mean, I'm not that thick. But... just wanted to know whether it would actually take us there. So it does actually take us there, doesn't it? Right, this element is your flight cluster. It contains all of your flight controls information. Here you can speed up your pause. Speed up or pause time. You can still move your camera and interact with part functions when you're paused. Okay. So what it's looking like it's doing then, this tutorial, is you're free to choose whatever section you like and it will give you a tutorial on that particular section. So we obviously haven't finished building this rocket yet. So, but because we've gone into the this takeoff part here, this area, this launch area, I'm trying to think of the right word, it's giving us a tutorial on the actual flights a little bit now. So this is your staging stack, which obviously we can't see at the moment. Let's tell you what, let's because that's not really relevant to what we're doing, is it? Can we get back to How do we get back to... Revert to VAB. Is that what we want? Yeah, confirm, revert. So I'm hoping this takes us back to the vehicle assembly place, but... Ah, it has. Right, okay. So, got something right there. Yeah, okay, so let's continue that. Right, let's... Yeah, so we shouldn't have pressed launch, should we? I don't suppose. Let's just click through all this lot, because we've done all that bit, haven't we, already? Right, Training Centre teaches everything from basic rocket construction to orbital mechanics. It's both fun and informative. Okay. Right, okay, so are we now left to just build our rocket to our heart's content then? So... Yeah, okay. So we want pods, don't we? Not entirely sure. Is that actually a pod there? I'm a bit confused. Or do we need to put that there? I don't know. I don't know whether we've now got 2 pods there. Yes, we've got 2 pods there, haven't we? We've got 2 pods which we don't want. So what did she say? We wanted a fuel tank and... So... We want to get... What did she say we wanted to get to now? Is it 10,000 kilometres? I don't know, let's stick this one on. Let's put that one at the bottom there. And then... Was the other thing a parachute? Wasn't it? Parachutes. Right, let's stick that on there. Okay. Right, okay. We have got that. I'm assuming that's all we need. Although, wait a minute. No, wait. It's not that we want, is it? It's an engine. Fuel tank's no good without an engine. So what this one does then is small but versatile Methalox engine. It features a full, what's that say? Full 3 degrees of thrust vectoring, making it a good choice for smaller rockets, inspired when a barbecue grill tipped something or other. Yeah, is that the one we want then? I don't know. It's the only one we've got available, isn't it? Let's stick that there then. But has it got any fuel in that? I'm sure that's not right, because there's no... It hasn't got fuel, has it? And it doesn't say that it has fuel either. So let's go... Let's put a tank on then. Let's see what happens with that. Let's put that there. And let's stick that there. Right, let's take that to launch. Right, well, we're not staging a rocket, but it's saying that, remember that the first stage is at the bottom of the stack, so yeah, so we need to work from the bottom upwards, basically. If you'd like to learn to fly in a safe, simulated environment, be sure to check out the training centre, yeah, okay. Let's give it a go, shall we? And see what happens. Oh, we've taken off. We have taken off, guys. Right, I don't even know how to move the bloody camera. We haven't been through that, have we? Oh, we're above the clouds as well. Oh, hold right. Yeah, it's the usual hold right mouse button. So we've got a science reward there. We've actually managed to get up above the clouds, haven't we? Okay, so what have we got here then? So we've got... I mean, we haven't had this fully explained to us at the moment, I don't think. So that's the altitude above the ground, is it? I'm assuming. And I'm assuming also that that's going to slow down at, or stop at any moment and start to fall back to curve. I was going to say back to Earth, but it's curbing, isn't it? It's still going up. Can we actually change the trajectory of this? What does that do? That's moving away. And now it's come back again. So I don't really know what's happening there. So that zooms in and out, that's the wheel. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, we're actually falling again though. We're actually falling again now. Perhaps we can't change the trajectory. Perhaps it's the type of setup we've got where we can't actually... This is just basically an up and down thing, isn't it? So this is obviously just going to fall straight back down to Earth and be demolished. We will sit and watch that. The graphics are nice though. I do think the graphics are improved on the first one. I was having a quick look the other day actually, and yeah, I don't remember these clouds on the first one. So it looks like they've added some sort of cloud cover there, which adds to the effect. Gives it a nice 3D effect. We're coming down fast now, aren't we, guys? Is it going to land in the water or on the land? On the land. Oh, right, okay. Nobody was stood under that, isn't it? Right, training is everything. Let's go back to training centre then. Right, okay. Okay, so lessons take place in a simulation. You can start a lesson at any time, even in the middle of an active flight. When you're done, we'll put you right back where we found you. Okay, so space is the place, missing the ground, orbits are weird, orbital transfers. So yeah, so I'm assuming we start at the top then. Right, okay, so it's all becoming a little bit clearer now. How do rockets work? Right, well, let's have a quick look at that and see what they say about that. See if it gives us a little bit more understanding.
Space is the place.
Oh, so it's just videos then at this stage, is it?
So you want to get to space. Have you tried rockets? Rockets use fuel and engines to create thrust, which propels them forward.
Yeah.
When a fuel tank is empty, it is dropped to stay as lightweight as possible, allowing the rocket to go even faster. These tanks, as well as other expendable parts of a rocket, are called stages. Different stages do different things. Often the first stage is very powerful, with just enough fuel to get the vehicle through the atmosphere. The second stage usually has a low-thrust engine that, while not as powerful, is more fuel efficient. After dropping the heavier first stage and leaving the atmosphere, the second stage engine pushes the much lighter second stage to orbital speed. On a flight to space, the final stage parachutes back down to the surface, ideally in one piece.
Yeah, unlike ours just did. Right, okay. So I'm hoping this isn't going to be another video. So we're wanting to get some actual play done. Right, okay, this is better.
As you embark on your journey into rocketry, it's important to get all the crashing out of your system here in the simulator. It really cuts down on the awkward phone calls. Today you'll be launching into the virtual skies.
So I like how they've put the blue
KSC,
edges onto things to show that you're in a simulator. That's quite a nice little move, that, actually. Okay, so as you embark on your journey to rocketry, it's important to get all the crashing out of your system here in the simulator. It really cuts down on the awkward phone calls. Today you'll be launching into the virtual skies over KSC. It's almost where you can buy some fried chicken, that, isn't it, really, KSC? But anyway, where you'll learn how to control a rocket.
Let's learn how to rotate the flight camera. That way, you can see the launch from your favorite angle.
Right, so rotate the camera by moving the mouse while holding the right mouse button. Yeah, okay, so yeah, we already worked that out in space, hadn't we? Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Great. You can also zoom the camera in and out.
Yep, sorted that out earlier. Yeah,
nice.
Thank you.
Go ahead and pick your favorite view for this launch.
Yeah, well, we'll have it there, shall we? It's as good as anywhere, I think. Oh, unless we just raise it up slightly. Let's go for that. Okay.
Your rocket is ready for launch. Every good launch starts with a big green button and lots of fire. Most bad launches do too, actually.
So start the launch sequence by selecting the go button and pressing the or pressing the space bar. Okay, we'll just press that. I'm working mainly off a mouse.
Looking good. Ascend to 1,000 meters, and then we'll learn some controls. Okay, you're a kilometer up. You can still crash, but you'll have more time to correct your course if you start pointing at the ground. Let's learn some rocket controls.
So I'm just testing out the other ones. I'm using the arrow keys there. That kind of moves you in the, or you could use your WASD keys. Moves it forward, backwards, left and right. Okay, so what's she on about here? So your kilometre up, you can still crash, but you'll have more time to correct your course if you start pointing at the ground. Let's learn some rocket controls, okay?
When flying a rocket or a plane, we have specific terms for moving. Pitch tilts your rocket's nose up and down.
Okay, so this is W and S then, right? Okay, so yeah, okay.
Nice pitch. Now pitch up until you're flying straight up.
Okay, so not good enough for you? It's got to be. How accurate do you want it? No, I'm looking at this down here. I'm assuming that is. Is that not straight up then? I'm assuming that isn't straight up then. In that case. Press S to pitch your rocket's nose upward. Well, that's what I've been doing. But that's just tilting it down like that. Confused, guys. Confused. This is a little bit like it was in the first game, where you get to a point where no matter what you're doing, even though you're following what they're saying, it's not kind of working. So my rocket's nose is pointing upwards. So I have no idea what's going off here. I'll tell you what, let's just put it face down, see if that does anything.
Let's move on.
Right, yes, please do.
Steers your rocket left and right.
So yours
Try
steers
it
it
now.
left and right. Okay, so let's tell you what, let's get facing back up again. Oops, I've gone a bit too far there. Let's get it just back vertical. Right, okay, so let's try that then. So that's the old yaw.
Now
Okay.
yaw to the left to straighten up.
Yep.
Excellent.
Okay.
Now for the final control. Roll rotates your rocket clockwise and counterclockwise. Try it now. That's the basics of rocket flight. Feel free to experiment with the controls. We can move on when you're ready.
Is that actually rolling the rocket there? I don't know. I don't seem to be getting a roll out of Q&E there. Don't know. Anyway, let's continue. You've learned how to move the camera in flight, how to launch the rocket, how to pitch, yaw, and roll. Yeah, I've learned to a degree. Like I say, I'm pressing Q and E now, and I don't seem to be getting a roll out of the rocket. I don't know. I don't know whether it's because the engine's run out of fuel or what it is. But yeah, it didn't all quite go as smoothly as I would have liked. Let's try the next one. So I think what I'm learning from this is the tutorial. Yeah, I think it's a little bit better than the first game.
You want to get to space. It's time to make a rocket.
But there's just certain aspects where if what you're doing, if it's asking you to do something like press a button, and you're trying to do something with that button, and if you don't get it right, it's kind of like the tutorial just hangs, and you could potentially be there for hours if you're not getting it exactly correct, but then you can't get it correct because you run out of fuel, type of thing. You know, it's like one thing leads to another. So I don't know, perhaps a little bit of work perhaps needed on that. So it's time to make a rocket. Right, okay, so let's get on with this bit then. So
requires 4 crucial components: a command module, fuel tank, engine, and parachute. Let's start by learning how to add a command module.
right, okay, well we know about a little bit about this because I do remember this. We have just built a rudimentary one, haven't we? So
A command module allows us to
we'll
control
carry on with the
our
tutorial.
vessel. As long as there is at least one command module on board, our rocket will be operational. This rocket will use a command pod, which can be manned by a Kerbal and is located in the pods category. Or multiple Kerbals. It all depends on the crew capacity of the part. For this lesson, we're going to make a small rocket, so we need a small command pod. Let's add this one. Great! It doesn't look like much, but
Oh, right,
it's a
so we just have to
promising
click
start.
it to move it over
The
there. Right,
next thing
okay.
our rocket
I thought
needs
we had
is
to
a
click and
fuel
drag.
tank. Fuel, or propellant, is an expendable resource used to power our vessels. Without fuel, we won't be going anywhere, let alone space. Let's look at the small fuel tanks. How about that one? Rocketry Weekly calls it good enough.
Okay,
Now,
let's go for
notice
that
the
one
part
then.
is once again
Oh,
attached
so we do
to
have
your
to drag
cursor.
that over then,
If you
right,
place
okay.
your cursor near... Now that's beginning to look like a rocket. Well, almost. We need an engine. Here at the KSP, we have 4 different types of engines: launcher, sustainer, orbital, and deep space engines. To break free of Kerbin's soupy atmosphere, We want either a launcher or sustainer engine. I personally like sustainers. What can I say? They keep me going.
Right, so we're selecting that.
Now let's add the sustainer engine to the fuel tank.
Sustainer, okay.
Excellent! Our rocket is looking pretty great. We just need one final touch. As is, our rocket can absolutely take flight. But if we want our pilot to survive the landing, we need to attach a parachute to the top of their command pod.
Okie dokie.
Our one Kerbal rocket. Now, all we need to do is put it on top. Congratulations!
Right.
You've just built a rocket.
Cool.
Are you sure you haven't done this before?
A little bit, not too much. Okay, so yeah, we've learnt rockets need a command module, fuel engine, and parachutes. The 4 different types of engine: launcher, sustainer, orbital, and deep space. How to find parts in the parts menu. How to attach parts, not attract parts. Right, okay, let's move on to the next one then. There's a fair old loading time on this game, I have to say.
As you start to build rockets, you'll want to see your designs from other angles. Let's learn how to manipulate the camera inside the vehicle assembly building. First, let's rotate the camera. Nice! Now let's zoom the camera in and out. Great! Now let's pan the camera up and down. You can also focus your camera at a specific...
This is what I was trying to do on that rocket we put into space, but I just couldn't get it working properly at all. So, what's that say? Middle click the mouse on any part of the vehicle. Okay, right, okay. Oops, no. Oh, middle click. Do apologise.
If you want to view your rocket from the top, front, or sides, switch to blueprint mode. You can change the camera's direction by selecting different sides of the view cube. If you ever get lost in the VAB, you can always reset the camera.
Okay.
Nice. Now you can get at those hard-to-reach parts of your rocket.
So we've learned how to move the camera in the vehicle assembly, how to access blueprint mode, how to reset the camera. Okie doke. Let's go back out of there and move on to the next one. Come on, come on. Load in.
Your rocket's ready. Let's take it out for a little hop.
Right. Let's do
Let's
that.
Move this rocket to a launch pad. Welcome to the launch pad. Today you'll be flying straight up. Your rocket should do fine without any steering inputs, but if things get out of line somehow, feel free to intervene.
Okay, so spacebar or click the go button to launch, A, D, W, S and Q and E to steer your rocket. Right. So, I'll tell you what, let's try spacebar this time. There we go. Just change our view a little bit.
You've cleared the launch tower and your flight is underway. Let's learn about staging. Rockets are constructed in sections called stages. Each stage is designed for a different part of a mission. When a stage completes its job, it's dropped to shed weight. On your right, you'll find the staging stack. It displays all of the functions contained in each stage. Every time you select the Go button, you'll activate a new stage, starting from the bottom of the stack.
So these two look like they're connected onto this particular stage. That's the engine at the bottom. But that's the engine and Wait a minute, so we've got the engine at the bottom. Well, then that... So that's the engine at the bottom. That is... Is that a secondary engine? Looks like there's a secondary engine then, is there?
Each stage's fuel supply is shown on a bar next to the stage. Your active stage, stage 1, still has a little fuel in it. When it goes dry, you'll drop that stage by selecting Go.
Okie doke.
Your first stage is out of fuel, and all it is doing is slowing you down. To drop that weight, you're going to activate your next stage. That will activate a decoupler, which will drop your empty stage.
So I think they're the decouplers, aren't they?
Engine. Once you activate a stage, there's no going back. Ready? Hit Go to lose that mass.
Yeah, okay, so I was right. There's another little engine there then, isn't there? So I'm assuming from what I've learnt so far, it's a solid fuel
Congratulations.
engine.
You're nearly to space.
Because there's
and
no
your
tank.
next set of fuel tanks are empty. Now is a good time to drop them. Activate the next stage to separate those tanks. Your capsule will now continue coasting up. All that's left to do is gaze back down at Kerbin and wonder if you remembered to lock your car. Nice work!
Right, okay. Oh, well, that, yeah, that seemed better then. Kind of understood what I was doing on that. Let's get on to the next one then. We'll just do one more on this first video. If you do want any more videos, guys, please drop a comment and we will do a few more if you'd like to see some more.
Your capsule has a lot of momentum. If you're curious how high up you are, take a look at your altimeter.
As I said, it's not
So
a game I've
see the curve of the horizon.
played a lot of, so you know, if you are perhaps a beginner or something like that, perhaps see how somebody else gets on. Not knowing an awful lot about the game, then it might be good to do some more videos. But you know, if you want to see some more, then like I said, please leave a comment, and it would be very much appreciated once again. And like and subscribe as well. I will mention that again while I'm here. So your capsule has a lot of momentum. If you're curious how high up you are, take a look at your altimeter. You're so high that you can see the curve of the horizon. We certainly can. So let's click on that then, or are we just looking at that? Yes, I think we're just supposed to look at that, aren't we?
Rocketry involves a lot of waiting between the cool explosions. You can speed up time by selecting the time warp controls at the bottom of your screen. Check out your altimeter. See how quickly those numbers are rising? Let's ride the rest of the way up and fast forward. You're about to start falling back down. Let's slow down and enjoy the view. Great job. You're now a master of time. Try not to use this new power for evil.
Okay, so yeah, so it looks like it's the same mission then. It's the same rocket, isn't it? It's just treating each part of the flight as a different tutorial. So we'll move on to the next one. I'm assuming this is going to be where we come down and use the parachute now then. That's what I would think.
What goes up must come down. Wind resistance will slow down your capsule's descent, but not enough to prevent it from turning into a bunch of tiny capsules when it lands. That's why we've attached a parachute. If you deploy your parachute too early, it'll be torn off. If you deploy it too late, you'll do some unplanned underground exploration. The sweet spot for Kerbin is between 20,000 and 2,000 meters.
So, right, okay. Let's continue that then. So 20,000, 2,000.
Okay, you're low enough to activate the final stage that contains your parachute. Hit Go to pop your chute. Nice work. The parachute will trail your capsule for a bit without fully opening. Once you've slowed down enough, it'll open all the way by itself.
Right, so we just sit and watch that happen then, I presume.
Your parachute is now fully deployed and slowing the capsule to a safe velocity. Congratulations! If this were real, you'd find celebratory snacks in the VAB kitchen.
Okay, so in this tutorial we have learnt that atmospheres slow down vehicles, that parachutes use the atmosphere to slow down vehicles. Parachutes must be opened at the right time, that parachutes partially deploy and then open fully close to the ground. Okay, so I'll not end the tutorials here. Let's just watch this thing land then just for a couple of minutes, and while it's doing that I will just give a bit of a recap on what we've done and what my thoughts are. So yeah, we've kind of gone through the basics, haven't we? We have built a simple rocket with 1 or 2 stages to it, and we have taken it up into the upper atmosphere and brought it back down to Earth using a parachute. So that's what we've learned. And yeah, what do I think of the game? It's certainly, I think from what I recall of the first game, I think the tutorial does seem to be a little bit better. Once you've got your sort of head around the fact that it doesn't, I do think it ought to be flashing continue when you're supposed to be continuing with the next paragraph on this tutorial page here. Yeah, I would suggest perhaps that might be an idea for the devs to include. Yeah, it's definitely kind of makes you understand it a little bit more. I feel from the first one. I feel like I could probably carry on with this more than the first game. But time will tell on that one. But as I said, guys, you leave me a comment and see if you want to see any more videos of me trying my hand as a relative newbie at flying these rockets and doing other things with them as well, landing on planets or moons or whatever. I don't know. We'll perhaps see where it takes us, but yeah, if enough people want it, then I will definitely do that. But thanks once again for the devs for sending me a key. It is really appreciated. Thank you very much for that. And thank you very much for watching, guys. And if you ever enjoyed it, remember, please give it a thumbs up, please subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell, share, and we will catch you on the next one. So take care and bye for now.